Marine naturalist Colin Speedy, skipper of the vessel Forever Changes, has always had great respect for the ocean and nature, ever since he took to the waters as a young child in a small dinghy. He now heads an operation that surveys British coastlines tracking basking shark migratory patterns with the help of a small group of volunteer researchers. The project has surveyed much of the west coast of the UK and has identified hotspots which would serve as potential protected areas for the basking shark. We join Colin as he and his volunteers prepare to set sail on the voyage around the most southern parts of the British coastline, in the hopes of encountering Catarrhinus maximus, the basking shark. The vessel hit turbulent weather conditions as it left the protection of the surrounding headland, leaving the captain and the crew at the mercy of the ocean. Colin had no other option but to return to the safety of the harbour.
Having a look at the weather forecast on the internet this morning, they're giving us force 3 to 4 during today, principally from the east. So not a lot different from yesterday, but a slightly more east and perhaps by this evening a little bit of northeast wind. We really can't tell till we get out there what conditions are going to be like down there. Possibly 6 out in exposed waters. We can sail up to Foy today. With an east wind, it's not ideal, and we're going to have the tide against us from about 11 o'clock. We could go out and have a look and see what conditions are like to go down towards the manacles. But if it's rough and if the swell height is too much, it's unlikely we're going to see much. Every mile that you go out this way, when you've got winds like this, it begins to get lumpier as you get out into more open water. My guess would be that if we're likely to find any sharks, it's going to be down around this part here. I don't want to be going down much further than Blackhead, particularly with the tide turning against us about 11 o'clock. This area around here, and especially down around here, will get pretty lumpy. If we're in Foy and it does pipe up tomorrow, there's not much we can do sailing wise. Whereas at least if you're in the Foul here, you've got plenty of water that you can sail in that's completely sheltered from the east. We've got plenty of fuel for the dinghy, so if we have to tie up for a while let the wind blow through a bit, then we can go and explore, and I can take you on some shore walks and that kind of thing. So as I say, we'll get out and we'll review it. Let's all get ourselves ready to go, and let's go off and do battle, eh?
As predicted, the rough weather continued out at sea. With the prospect of exploring the surrounding areas in the relative calm of the Foul, the crew remained upbeat as they get the opportunity to observe an array of coastal features and wildlife.
So these little boats here, they're little rowing oyster boats, and they have been built here, specifically for the fishery. So you can see, they're looking pretty sorry for themselves and just left like that. They're just sort of filled with water, fresh water, and that rocks them. Then they get over heavy and they twist and they're knackered.
The British coastline provides a seasonal home to many migrating birds. One such species is the shag, which breeds in loose colonies on rocky coastal cliffs and islands. Its name originates from the Old Norse word skeg, meaning beard, and refers to the crest. The shag is very similar in appearance to the cormorant, but feeds on fish found in deeper waters. As the sun sets and the crew settle down for the night, Colin is busy planning the final attempt to get out into open waters and survey the Cornish coastline for basking sharks.
So, they're giving it now to sort of start going off around lunchtime, about midday.
Is that on the Falmouth Bay one?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was the same on Coverack. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. It might have gone down a little. Have a look around in the bay, and failing that, if it's too lumpy, then we can come back in for a little while, because it is going to be going off as the day progresses. But with a bit of luck, it'll have gone down a bit, because there wasn't anything like as much wind in the night as there was yesterday, for example. So hopefully that will have eased off a little bit. And I've been watching a few boats going out, and they seem to be carrying quite a bit of sail, so we can certainly go out and have a look.
I would say that I've never done anything in my life that would actually be a detriment to wildlife, but on the other hand, I've never actually done anything positive. I've never actually taken an active interest and done anything to promote the wildlife.
It certainly opened my eyes to wildlife which I wouldn't have previously thought about.
The weather conditions finally allowed the team to conduct a survey in open waters, and although there were no encounters with the basking sharks, the team hailed the voyage a success, as the information gathered provides a valuable insight into the region's ever-changing marine life. It's the likes of Colin Speedy and the efforts of research teams that help us identify and study the extraordinary and fragile marine life that surrounds our shores.